Hello, I'm Lucy Owen. Welcome to Wales Today. The headlines: how we could see higher prices and a shortage on the shelves because of a lack of lorry drivers.
It's a perfect storm. Brexit, labour shortage, EU nationals and COVID.
The timber at this builder's merchants has more than doubled in price in recent months. I'll be finding out how all of this will affect the consumer.
Good evening. A perfect storm caused by COVID and Brexit. That's how one leading haulier in Wales has described the problems behind a serious shortage of lorry drivers, which could lead to higher prices for everyone. The claim from a senior manager at Owens Group, which is based in Carmarthenshire and operates 1,000 lorries, has been echoed by other Welsh businesses who already say they're seeing rising prices. Well, Nick Savini is at one of them for us tonight, a builder's merchants in Hengoed. Nick.
Thank you, Lucy. We'll speak to virtually any tradesman or anyone involved in the construction industry at the moment, and they will tell you the big problem is not demand, but sourcing products like this. I'll be speaking to the general manager here in a minute. It is a cause of real problems, a complex issue, of course, global supply chains issues like Brexit, the pandemic, and specific problems like a shortage of drivers, which is really significant for the industry. Almost inevitably, it will be all of us that end up paying for it in the form of higher bills. But what exactly is going on? Here's our economics correspondent, Sarah Dickens.
The end of the day and a lorry parks up at its base near Llanelli. There's plenty of work. The challenge for this firm is to find enough drivers to transport the loads.
It's a perfect storm. Brexit, labour shortage, EU nationals and COVID is causing issues within the haulage industry.
50 drivers who are EU nationals have stopped working here because they no longer fit the criteria to be employed in the UK.
We need these skilled people, and in the COVID pandemic, we were seen as an important industry, keeping the deliveries going in the UK.
The haulage industry is asking the UK government to change the immigration criteria to allow EU citizens to be employed here. At the moment, they're counted as not skilled enough. In a statement, the UK government said its points-based system makes clear that employers should focus on investing in our domestic workforce rather than relying on labour from abroad.
Not anybody could take that out on a road and manoeuvre it into some of the places that customers want you to drive it.
There are other factors too. Fewer young people are joining the industry, and the pandemic has halted HGV testing for new entrants. And lorry drivers are still working around delays at ports caused by new border regulations for goods between the UK and the EU. From a warehouse in Bridgend, Daniel Lambert imports wines from around the world and supplies shops, restaurants and supermarkets.
Every single week the delays are getting longer. There's no question of that. So it comes to a point where's the breaking point?
Underlying problems are magnified because so many economies are reopening at the same time and there's a surge in demand for goods.
I'm aware of one of the major hauliers based in Europe and the UK who currently have 550 containers worth of wine sitting in Belgium waiting to come to the UK, but it can't because the paperwork isn't right. That particular supermarket is currently missing 45% of its range due to this one little problem.
And he says deliveries from South Wales to Devon are now taking 4 days rather than 24 hours. Shortages are already being felt at builders' merchants across the UK.
I think the shortage of drivers is perhaps meaning that the drivers are able to cherry-pick their loads. If someone perhaps is asking for 60 bags at the moment, we can only provide 40.
Shortages are also driving up prices. He says the cost of timber has already doubled in the last 18 months. In the meantime, the industry says the answer is for the skills criteria to be altered so EU citizens can be employed to drive lorries here.
That was our economics correspondent, Sarah Dickens. Let's have a word with the general manager here at Denmans, this Builders Merchants, Cadwyn Gurman, and get a sense, first of all, of, the timings. How long is it getting for you to get hold of products, and how much of a problem is that?
But lead times have just grown exponentially. We had orders that were placed in November last year, ready to come in late February, early March. And we've received some of those orders just last week and today. So lead times have grown and grown and grown. So getting stock through the door for ourselves and for our customers is more and more difficult all the time at the moment.
So that was slabs.
Yes.
And over 7 months?
7 months, yeah. So some crazy lead times there.
How do you plan that then with the customers and the builders who are coming for you, desperate presumably for this stuff?
Yeah, absolutely they are, and obviously just keeping that communication going with them and making sure that everybody knows what's happening and what's happening in this industry across all the materials is key to what we do.
And what's happening with price? Because presumably you just have to pass this on to the tradesmen and women out there then who inevitably pass it on to the customers.
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, those slabs, for instance, suppliers then claiming force majeure to put the prices back to where they were or up because of cost of haulage increases, cost of material increases, slower lead times. That all needs to get passed on to us and for us onto our customers at the end of the day.
I mean, that's quite difficult for you then. I guess you get a fair bit of stick then from your customers who are used to paying far less for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And they don't necessarily believe that that's what's happening until obviously the media picks it up and actually they weren't lying, it is true.
Well, they think you're profiteering from it.
Absolutely. And a little bit of that did happen last year through certain competitors. Some of that did happen. We try and stay loyal and stay true to what we do and be consistent.
Hey, a lot of people watching this tonight, Cadwyn, will want to know how long is this going to continue for, do you think?
It's not going to get any better straight away. It's going to get worse before it gets better. We're still being given lead times now of 2 and 3 months on what should be taking 2 and 3 weeks. So the key for us and what we say to our customers, to our builders and even to our general public customers is plan ahead. Make sure that you know how long these things are going to take, and it's not going to be instantaneous on the shelf. There is going to be a delay. So 2-3 months ahead of what you would expect normally.
OK, Cadwyn Gurman, thank you very much indeed.
No problem.
Some good advice there, Lucy, in terms of how the industry is dealing with things like a shortage of drivers and this big economic forces out there, which is all causing major supply side issues, which is affecting the Welsh economy like everywhere else. Back to you in the studio.
OK, Nick, thanks very much.